Found you in the summertime. Your heart play drums up under mine. Now I'm haunted by your silhouette and can taste your skin on my fingertips. I found you, I had you, let you walk away. Now I chase you and taste you like every day. It was Coachella, middle of the springtime. Frank Ocean's, Iceborne Green Lawn. Now my mind is home to your visit. Flashback desktop, home to your image. You will fuck me till I'm numb, to my bones loose, feeling to my body levitated till it rose to the ceiling, to my lungs were constricted, and I thought that I would die. Said that was your fallen angel when you caught me from the sky. Like love comes at really awkward times, and I've learned life doesn't always rhyme. My ink wells run dry, writing letters to you. My heart isn't half, cause it's better in two. But I keep writing, keep writing. No, I never reach you, but I keep trying. Keep writing, keep writing. No, I never reach you, but I keep trying. Keep writing, keep writing. No, I never reach you, but I keep trying. Damn, I just wish I could forget you. Writing gypsy letters, cause I know I never catch it. I drowned in it, momentary lounge in it. Took from it like a field with a cloud in it. Dry faith, I was hoping for the best, and if I ain't get that, I was hoping for the rest. See, I opened up my heart like a sailor parachute. You made me feel real, and I don't think it's fair. You, damn, told you everything that hurt me, and you did it all like you never even heard me. But I'm a slave to the crave for your touch now. Got me waiting up for whenever you touch down. Staying up like a plane after takeoff. Vendetta, Nicolas Cage with the face off. Dig you, wherever you are now. This the only way I know to put my heart out. I'm in it when I told you it was real, and ever since then, you the only thing I feel like. Love comes at really awkward times, and I've learned life doesn't always rhyme. My ink wells run dry, writing letters to you. My heart isn't half, cause it's better in twos. But I keep writing, keep writing. No, I never reach you, but I keep trying. Keep writing, keep writing. No, I never reach you, but I keep trying. Keep writing, keep writing. No, I never reach you, but I keep trying. Damn, I just wish I could forget you. Writing gypsy letters, cause I know I never catch you. Laying next to a maze that I'm trapped in. No way out, no means for an exit. Burning Man, Phoenix, Arizona. Got laid there like a momentary coma. Whispered in my ear from the souls where they see you. Don't chase love, you just go where it leads you. Yeah, had to feel you with my palms. You were my drugs, I can feel you in my arms. And my heart is where I hold this. I could be a solstice, you could be my solstice. And we can meet wherever this stop. Two souls together, tighter than a fish knot. I just hope I don't drown in your memories. Let me wade the water, promise to remember me. And since patience is a virtue, grief gets heavy and the weight could really hurt you. But I believe in this, just leave a piece of you if you leave again. Like love comes at really awkward times, and I've learned life doesn't always rhyme. My ink wells run dry, writing letters to you. My heart isn't half, cause it's better in twos. But I keep writing, keep writing. No, I never reach you, but I keep trying. Keep writing, keep writing. No, I never reach you, but I keep trying. Keep writing, keep writing. No, I never reach you, but I keep trying. Keep writing, keep writing. No, I never reach you, but I keep trying. Keep writing, keep writing. No, I never reach you, but I keep trying. Damn, I just wish I could forget you. Writing gypsy letters, cause I know I never catch you.
Babe!
What?
And by the way, letter from Jeff
what
Bezos.
You all know, but most people don't know.
And I'm pretty sure I know what it is.
Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions,
it's my monthly
the Latino
paycheck from
community is
Audible.
incredibly
$1,200. You got paid $1,200 by Audible this month?
Yeah, I did. And every single month, he sends me a check in the mail.
So you can't have a gas tax.
Audible is, it's actually owned by Amazon, which is one of the biggest marketplaces.
And by the way, what you all know, but most people don't know, unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. You go to Florida, you find a very different attitude about immigration in certain places than you do when you're in Arizona. So it's a very different, a very diverse community.
So I just watched the clip, and Joe Biden this morning totally disparaged and insulted the black community. What he said is incredible, and I don't know what's going on with him, but it was a very insulting statement he made.
I want to ask you about your running mate. I don't know if you saw
Well, I saw today that a news report broke that Amy Klobuchar was being vetted, and a lot of people on social media, they're not too happy about that. And it's because they want your running mate to be a black woman. I don't know if you saw the op-ed in the Washington Post by some of the leading black women voices in this country, and they feel since black women are such a loyal voting bloc, and black people saved your political life in the primaries this year, they have things they want from you, and one of them is a black woman running mate. What do you say to them?
What I say to them is that I'm not acknowledging anybody who is being considered, but I guarantee you there are multiple black women being considered. Multiple.
Well, you know,
Thanks so much. That's really our time. I apologize.
You can't do that to black media.
I can't do that to white media and black media because my wife has to go on at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights 25 years. I have a record that is second to none. The NAACP has endorsed me every time I've run. I mean, come on. Take a look at the record.
All right. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Anyway, thanks. I will come back.
All right.
I look forward to seeing you in person.
Okay, absolutely.
Okay, pal. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it, Charlamagne.
Say, well, you can't have a poll tax. They can say you can't have a gas tax or a cigarette tax, anything else. Federal government's telling the states pretty tough what their business is. Now, you can say that they can't discriminate, but I've got to prove that it discriminates, and I can't prove it in Texas. There are more niggers voting there now than white folks. There are more of them buying poll taxes now than white folks. Higher percentage of them. And I can't show that the literacy test is discriminate against because they haven't got any. They got no test at all. Just by God, anybody that can get up and pay $1.06 can vote.
On an 11-minute delay off of 222 wait for a response. So we're gonna get into a couple of questions here, but in the meantime, I want some background music. So where's my speaker? I'm gonna give a few people a chance to get in here. 20%. While I do this. All right, so what we seen yesterday, a sister named Jasmine was calling for the king, and she had her husband blow the trumpet to the sky. Some of us knew what was going on. Most of us don't. So going back into our history to discover what the hell is this all about and what do it mean. In the biblical text, it talks about the one that blows the trumpet to call the Israelites to attention. Now, when she was doing that, it was 1 o'clock yesterday. Now, throughout the day, in comments on my receipt posts, people were saying that they had they could hear music in their head, pressure in their head, and they could hear like what they said was they called it Indian flutes sounding like. But what it was is they do the physical. Right, the physical world. They do the physical, deal with what's in the 3D. But the spiritual significance reverberates. It goes through a purification So when you seen the brother raise the horn up to the sky from the ground, that was the call for the kings to come forth. And that was there is no more notices. So now people want to know, well, what's next? Well, watch the coast is what's next, because until they see the three kings walking the land, Mother Nature finna raise hell. So make sure that y'all got water stored. Y'all got power generators. Don't plug them in to after the power go out, because it's gonna surge them out of function. So unless they gas generators, that's mounted secure, but it's about to go the fuck down. There's no way to say it. It's about to go the fuck down. I mean, everybody came in on cue, answered their call. Many of them was personal things in their life that they had to acknowledge. And then in acknowledging that, they have to do something in 3D to translate it from spirit into physical. Once that translation, now they have to give an answer back from physical to spirit. The answer back was, what y'all waiting on? We waiting to see three kings walk in the land. So, well, what do? Well, the trumpeter, according to the book, the final trumpet blows, then it's supposed to trigger a chain reaction from the spiritual into the physical to produce the three kings. Now, the three kings, ain't none of these motherfuckers in Colorado no more. That's the first thing y'all got to understand. Ain't none of these motherfuckers in Colorado no more. That motherfucker closed. And the inmates that was in there that wasn't part of the community has been moved somewhere else. They closing that motherfucker in real time, but y'all thinking business is as usual. This is not business as usual. That shit a wrap. So where we at now with it is, until we see three kings walking the land, Mother Earth is going to be raising hell. And that's just the way it is. Now, Christina Vargas, Rashida, the sister Jasmine, they all been posting this shit and telling y'all what's going on, but everybody watching what I'm saying, and they're not watching what the oracles is saying. The oracles is telling you days and times, right? So from one of the sisters that gave me the knot, there's a rap. She said if something don't move by dark tonight, at sunfall at nightfall we're gonna see some drama from Mother Nature. Now, the reason we allow Mother Nature to do it is because she gonna do it and she ain't gonna take sides. And sometimes the good get caught up with the bad. That ain't their fault. It's just that the motherfuckers they around ain't no earthly good. Right? So when the good get caught with the bad, then all the bullshit come to the surface. Right? So I'm trying to share this on Facebook while I'm live. But I don't see a link to it. Let me see if I can do it this way. Nope, that's only for somebody asked to come in here. I'm not really worried about that. I'm worried about this. So as we look through the times and we reading the signs and we following what's going on, Larry Hoover Jr. is well aware of who I am. He doing his part. Little Larry, we call him Little Larry. The family call him Little Larry. He know what the fuck I'm doing. And wherever you seeing him at, his father is somewhere close right now. The last I got message off the Wind Talker channel was that I Am Melody, I was just talking about that. They ain't locked up no more. They out. So the last time I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Last week, you know, I was sat down, and the only thing I could respond to was what was called prearranged. I mean, that it was set before I was sat down. So Thursday, I gave a message on the Zoom interview with the Moore brother, and we explained a lot. We went over like the difference between the dirty Moors and the righteous Moors, what we call the Bays versus the L's, and how we've had to switch them into different places in order to take over that bullshit. Right? They all of them together. Angel Bay not leaving Tukey till he's strong enough to walk, and he been walking, but apparently he don't feel like he's strong enough. But it don't matter, because if the public didn't see it, if the public don't see the three kings, it don't matter what's going on in the background. Nature's going to take its course. There's nothing we can do about that, because the people, not me, the people, collective mentality, the universal mind, the people collective demand to free the kings. Tukey is with them too. Tukey was frozen in cryostasis, and they thawed him out for this purpose, and they reanimating. When he came to, he was having severe chills, and he had the sorest muscles you could possibly imagine. If you don't lift weights, you probably won't understand the analogy, but it's like a workout from hell. It's like taking the whole Marines Hell Week in one day, and then the next day you got to recover for a period of time. Well, that's what he went through. The collective is demanding three kings. We've reached critical mass. Even though we waiting on Tukey, that don't matter. That has nothing to do with what Mother Nature is going to do until we see three kings. Now, the warning for the tsunami is this. This is the science. And anybody, I'm going to give you some experiments so that you can get it in your head how the tsunami is coming and why. As this volcano continuously spitting out this lava at the top, what's coming up from the bottom? At the bottom is sucking the magma out in order to spew it out the top. It's creating a vacuum. The side effect is there's a stretch of lava tunnels from the Canary Islands onto the mainland. As it continues to spit lava out the top, it's creating this suction underground. It's just a matter of time before it caves in. So this is the experiment. Put a skillet on the stove, heat it up, take you some cold water off the faucet, put a couple drops in there and see what happens. This is going to be a lot. Now multiply that by about 100,000 times, and then you will understand how the tsunami is going to be caused. Because when that hot water, lava and that cold water meet, it's going to cause a reaction. You can't help it. So as this reaction takes place, it's going to be instantaneous explosion, but it's deep under the water. Because it's so deep under the water, this is going to have what some of us know as a wave pool effect. That's when the water is sucked in, that cold hit that hot, and then it explodes back out, right? When it explodes back out, it's sending bursts of steam straight up through the cold water. But as it's doing that, it's going to move the ocean. They don't have no choice. It's the law of physics. You can't escape it. Who was that? Bozeman Sr., he just put in the law of physics. It's you can't stop this shit, right? The only relief was for us to see three kings today. So they got the sunfall tonight for us to see three kings walk in the land before Mother Nature takes over. When the majority of the earthborn agree to call forth the kings, and anybody on earth who's holding the kings to stop them from being seen in the public eye, right? The problem then becomes nature takes over. You don't have to do nothing. That's why everybody keeps saying you ain't got to do nothing. Ain't no sense of being scared now, because if you wasn't scared before, there's no sense of being scared now. The only motherfuckers need to be scared is the motherfuckers who continuously do dirt and do wrong all day long, and all they heart is set on doing somebody wrong. They want to fuck over everybody, but they don't want nobody to fuck over them, right? So this is where we at with it. Now, the I got to be able to share this. Let me see. I got a couple of them here. So there is a West Coast earthquake scenario that's been playing out in small tremors. Now, if you don't watch the earthquake watch, you will have no clue what I'm talking about, right? But if you watch the earthquake watch, you'll know that they have these deep underground earthquakes. Now, the domes, the bombs that blow up the domes, every earthquake from those is between 2.5 and 3.5. How you will know if it's a dome versus a natural earthquake is it will be a series of them in a line when you look at the fault line, because this is where the ley line is, that they have the underground bases, and this is what you'll be looking at. I'm trying to find... Okay, so I'm gonna send them. So anyway, so now that we have to deal with this, right? Don't panic. It ain't nothing you can do. And like, there's no way you can stop what Mother Nature is doing, because she's gonna kick a tissy fit, because it's the same Mother Nature connection. It's the same as the connection of a child to a parent. The custodians are the people in the land is the kings. That mean their job is to keep orderly the land and to keep anything that don't belong out. And they telling y'all that they gang chiefs. No, they tribal leaders. They tribal leaders, right? So when you understand that they the leaders of tribes, and that they turned the tribes into villains by calling them gangs, but never knowing that gang was a code word. G is the seventh letter made. This is the first letter of the gang, and Aang is the avatar. So the avatar got to come from what they call a gang, but it's not a gang, it's a tribe. And as long as we can mixing up tribes and street life, we are totally lost. Hoover just so happened to be one of the three kings who's one of his tribesmen came and answered the call to resolve the matter. The matter was the bondage of the people, the miseducation of the people, the family destruction, and the continuous misery inflicted upon the leadership of the people that the people choose. They got us under the false impression. We think because we went to the ballot, we chose a leader. But they never tell you that anybody that's on that ballot already been picked. For win, lose, or draw, they already been picked. Before you ever go and put your ballot in, they already know who they finna put there. All that is a dog and pony show to distract you and keep you. But you can't fight Mother Nature. You can fight me. You can blow me the fuck up, and I have to come back again later. You can kill me, put two in my head. I'm gonna lay down like everybody else that got two in their head. That's not the problem right now. They don't give a fuck about me. They're trying to stop Mother Nature. You can't stop her. You can't stop Mother Nature unless you do right. The only thing that's going to appease Mother Nature is when you're doing right. If you do wrong, you're going to piss her off more and more. And right now, she's not very happy because she ain't seen three kings, and I ain't seen them either. I know where they at. I know what they doing, but that's irrelevant to the masses of the people, because public demand is in play. We want our kings on the land. We all agreed to that. You know, everybody, I'm at a 444. That's an Angel Bay knock on the motherfucking raising of the three kings. So look, because we, earthborn, child of the sun, born on the earth, right, get our information directly from the sun. And the solar rays come in on angles of light. And these angles of light, they call angels of light. All they did is switch the anagram up to confuse you. The universe talked to you. You don't need me. If you can trust yourself, you won't need me. Most motherfuckers don't trust themselves. I learned how to translate this shit because it didn't sit well with me now that I know what's going on. I'm telling y'all the facts. So the oracle said, if the kings ain't walking the lake by the night, Mother Nature finna take off like Jordan from the free throw line. No mercy. No mercy. Ain't no mercy. Because the collective has demanded the kings. They got to produce this motherfucking kings. This river of red running through a sea of blue. What in the fuck do that mean, Rod? The river of red is the blood nation in a steady stream. And the ocean of blue is Crips and folks. GDs and Crips. These gonna be behind and in support of three kings, but they ain't moving without their kings. So this is why you ain't seeing mass demonstrations, right? Because they following the laws of nature. And according to the laws of nature, when the clan demand the alpha step forward and talk to the people to tell them what the fuck going on. Why we want to know. This is what we want to know. We want to know. Why is our children sex toys? We want to know that. We want to know why we got to fucking get it from the dirt. Why these motherfuckers are shuffling it around at the top. Why we got to get it from the dirt. Right? Yeah, the lava in the ocean, had been the hot water lava and that cold water don't make for a good match. You can do the experiment. I gave the experiment. I'm gonna go over the experiment again. Heat the skillet up with nothing in it. Let it get good and hot, then pour some water in it, and then you'll know what's gonna happen. You will understand the science behind it, and you won't fear it no more. Because the only thing you fear is the unknown in reality. And anything that causes fear in you means that you had no knowledge of that thing. That's the God position. The God position understands that the only thing that you fear is that which you don't understand. So if you understand yourself, then the rest of that shit won't phase you. It's science. It's the law of nature. Nature's laws was here as man was becoming. And women wrote the laws of nature a long time ago, and they called them the laws of Mott. And when you look at Mott, she's a woman. And when you look at the human type of Akasha, she's a woman. So the record keeper, right, and the motherfucker who come to deliver you your motherfucking just due, both women. Then you got a motherfucker that they call the scale, the weigher in the balance, the divine judge. Got to go through all that shit. And now he gonna get a power where it belongs, because not because he want to be subservient to anybody, but the power belongs with the women because Earth is a feminine planet. And as long as the patriarchs is going rogue on the matriarchal planet, the order is out of balance. All we trying to do is restore the balance. It's not personal. It's just what we do. Restore the balance to Earth. Humans right now is causing Earth to be out of balance. The Akashic Records is what you call the universal mind. Everything is already there. Meditation is the method used to tap into it. There's a second method called erudition. That means fill up your short-term memory, your long-term memory. Then the only thing left is for you to figuratively go into the cloud. It worked like a motherfucking computer because a computer is based on the process. And that's why every domain started with HTTP, Hotep. That's all they're saying is Hotep with no vowels. But that's what it say. When it say www, what they tell you that mean World Wide Web, it's really the upside down flip, right? On Mother Matriarchs marching. They've been on this shit from up there. And now this shit got to get here. The only way to translate it from up there, tell y'all what I see coming down in the streamer, like in the Matrix, but it don't look like the streamer in the Matrix, but to work the same way. So when you see something in the physical, it means something in the spiritual. If it means something in the spiritual, You have to be enough understanding of your God self, your inner self, to have yourself as what you call first person perspective. Frame of reference is the God position, the position of right under the bounds of truth, right? So now, when the World Wide Web became the mother matriarchs marching, we also see that also is a million man march off of an NOI, Nation of Islam, knock on a tone, which is the atonement of those who are indigenous to the land who met in mass in DC to resolve the problems in the community and was immediately met by government backlash that y'all don't even know about. But Farrakhan to tell you what happened on the heels of the Million Man March. Even though Jesse would tell you, Al Sharpton, they was all there. Malachi York was there. The Nuwabians, everybody was fucking there. Right? So if everybody was there, why didn't shit happen after the Million Man March? Because they didn't make them produce the Three Kings. They didn't make them produce the Three Kings. They could have told the sky, they don't have to talk to no human. Laws of nature. Usher in with three kings. Three kings walking the land. And with three kings walking the land, then there's nothing. At that point, you know that the original indigenous to the land anywhere on earth is back in charge. That's the only way you're going to know. The illusion is that while these three kings is preparing to meet the public, because Larry's speeches he's being aided by members in the nation that's helping him put his speech together, because they are the best speakers in our community. Those that come from there, and the Nuwabians is a very close second if they ain't on par with that. But the majority of these niggas is fucked up because they in it for the money. Right? They in it for the wrong reason. The only reason you need to be in this shit, protect the children, raise the matriarchy. There's nothing else that matters, because if you do those two things, everything else self-corrects. Right? So it's just like you trying to solve a math problem. This is straight out of the book Dianetics. You're trying to solve a math problem on a calculator, but somebody is holding one button. Every time you put in a calculation, it's wrong because somebody got their finger on a button that's throwing the calculation off. The calculator cannot read correctly how to translate what it's being told to do with what the right answer should be. This is what's going on with us. They holding their finger on this button because they think niggas is too dumb to ever wake up, pull their head out their ass and see what's going on in front of them. Right? So some of us, we ain't the smartest. We ain't the biggest. We ain't the baddest. We ain't the toughest. But we done walked a real hard path. And on the course of getting hard knocks, you learn hard lessons, and hard lessons stick with hard-headed people 10 times longer than that which he has learned in passing. Fuck their ego. The ego not gonna be no shield. So that means you can believe whatever you want to believe and be 100% wrong, and you can feel however you feel and still be 100% wrong. And while you doing all that, I'm gonna not give a fuck and be 100% right. That's it. Just that simple. So they got the nightfall before Mother Nature started bucking the system. When Mother Nature started bucking, ain't no stopping her until she done with what she doing, because she finna clean house. You ain't gotta worry about nobody with hair on their face, hair on their balls doing this shit. It's not gonna happen. This shit gonna come from the ancestors and the elders, from the atmosphere to the earth itself. The Shu Tefnut resonance is the sequence of the sky and the earth working in harmony to balance it out. Shu and Tefnut. They had us on what you call Shu Min resonance. If you look it up, it's a double masculine polarity, which all threw this shit out of whack. Right. So now, the call been given. The deadline is known. Today is the deadline. The reaction that we look for so that we ain't looking for no niggas to drive down the street in tanks and get their ass blowed off the map. We don't got to do none of that. Nature, these animals these kids been doing the hokey pokey, the animals gonna start turning on motherfuckers. What the fuck you think that shit is? Right? Old McDonald's farm, where they did the hokey pokey. You know, where they put their left foot in, took their left foot out, and put their left foot in, and then they shook it all about. They shaking the dirt off. It's a cleansing process, an old ritual. Every dance you think you learn new is an old ritual that's coming back to surface for this cleanup. Do this shit. But you got to be conscious of the fact that any dance you do is activating the power in nature. Any dance you do is activating the part of the powers of nature. Crip walking it's the walking man. That's the electrical charges in the upper atmosphere. It's the electron to proton polarity from the earth to the sky. That's all it is. So when they call in for Big Tukey, if they start crip walking, it start causing you've seen it. We've been pointing it out in real time. The more you see these motherfuckers crip walking and they ain't seen Tukey, the more lightning storms are striking. That's all. Even LeBron James got a crip walk challenge. Snoop got a crip walk challenge. You know what I'm saying? You got celebrities sea walking that ain't even crips. Why? Because they know this is your time to shine. All you got to do is stop moving. Don't support the system. Shut this bitch down. But niggas scared of that shit. What do we mean by shut it down? If you don't shut it down, they're going to shut it down for you. Mother Nature going to shut it down for you. Don't participate in none of their politics. Don't participate in none of their bullshit. You know what it is. They telling you to take that motherfucking shit in your arm. Be a damn fool if you want to. And that's all I'm gonna say about it. Be a damn fool if you want to. There is no way, if you do the pathology on the viral strains, you'll find that it got a 99.4% recovery rate. That means that it's almost impossible to die from that shit. Right? So that's just the first part. The second part is it's so fucking hard to catch this shit because it's such a weak strain of the COVID variants. The strain is so weak that it can't last outside of a host for 20 minutes. And it's supposed to be an airborne pathogen, but as soon as it hit the surface, it's dead on contact, according to them. Not me. I didn't write the shit. All you got to do if you want to know what you up against is say, put the name of it in and look up the pathology. The pathology is the behavior and the characteristics of a disease or virus. How does it work? What does it do? How does it survive? What's its habitat? Y'all don't want that shit. Y'all don't want to do the work. I come tell you, but you don't want to do the work. This is how you end up where I'm at. Telling y'all this shit because motherfuckers don't want to do the labor and intensive research. Your life must not be that valuable to you. You know, you put value on your life according to your understanding of what life means. You know, so I'm looking at these people in the medical profession who have not read the pathology, telling you what to do. Now, it's not that I didn't sit there with them and know they didn't read the pathology. It's either two things. Either they read the pathology and they know they lying. Most doctors, I don't believe that. Some doctors, yes, but the majority, no. The majority of the people that takes on the medical practice and go through that intensive study because they want to save lives, right? But you got a couple of them that want to make money. Doctors and lawyers make good money. That's some bullshit. That's not a good reason to get into anything, right? So if you analyze what you are being told versus what the same motherfuckers got on paper, right? You will understand the deception and you shut that shit down, right? They had a whole fucking FDA 9-hour hearing on this shit. And they said they can't make you take that shit because it ain't even motherfucking compatible with the human system. Find out why they stopped doing animal trials on that shit. They stopped doing animal trials because the animals started dying. This date paperwork, I didn't write it. Right? I'm just telling you what they said before they ever told you about it. How did you know it was planned? Because a year before the first case, in January of the prior year, or the earlier that year in January, they had already introduced what they called the COVID relief bill. Now, how you gonna introduce a bill for some relief for some shit that ain't happened yet if it ain't a plan? Y'all just don't think. And my problem is I think too much. They say I believe everything. I'm gullible, but I don't believe shit until I can prove it. But motherfuckers that don't know me assume that I'm just saying shit. You know, that nigga just talking. That crazy motherfucker don't know what he's talking about. Damn, but he right again. Now they sitting over there looking at how did this motherfucker be this right? Spitting this shit out his head, all this conjecture, but he keep being fucking right. I don't want to be right. I don't like motherfuckers saying you told me so. That's the worst thing I gotta tell them motherfuckers I told you so. That's not, there's no pride and no joy in that shit. That means that I found the answer and gave it to you and you was too stupid to go check it out for yourself. That's some miserable shit. Right? So I'm an overthinker, yeah. But what do that really mean? They call you an overthinker when they saying stop before you figure out what we doing to your dumb ass. You ain't gonna be a dummy no more. You're an overthinker. You think more over the heads of the average individual, higher intelligence, right? But the biblical text say, let this mind be in you, which is in Christ Jesus. Well, first of all, you got to know who Christ Jesus is and what this mind that's in Christ Jesus is. Christ comes from the root word Christos, which is an Egyptian word, KRST, which means to be anointed with what they call sacred sacrarium, which is already a part of who you is. That's the first thing, right? Jesus ain't no man. Jesus is a woman, been a woman, always going to be a woman. Jesus is Isis, but you motherfuckers are still looking for a man to come down on this motherfucker on a cloud like he's surfing the skies. Are you fucking serious? Go back to the Greek. The New Testament was written in Greek. It wasn't written in Hebrew. It was written in Greek. The Greek transliteration of the same fucking name you've been saying Jesus. Now, first of all, it never occurred to you that you can't have a Jesus with a 500-year-old alphabet and the name be what you would call correct. It can't be. There was no J in the age of what they called the Christ, the anointed one. So since there was no J, what was there before that? It's an I, right? But it was two letters. It was an IE. The E becomes silent. And then you got an S, right? So you got an I and an S, but the E in the middle of the two is silent. Then you got OUS as an N, right? And the O is rendered silent by the prior vowel and the vowel that follows it, which makes the O a hard sound. So when you saying Jesus, you actually saying ISIS, but you ain't got enough wherewithal to understand to go back one language in which it came from in order to get the right shit. Right? So you got the 500-year-old letter J telling you to look for a 2,000-year-old deity, God, Christ, or incarnate being, and you ain't gonna never find them. But there's one thing about it though. If enough people believe something, it got to happen in some form. It's just not going to happen in the form that you think, right? So, because so many people been looking for Jesus, it got to be a code to unlock that form of collective unconscious. It is. It's a Masonic code. It's a 33 BC to a 33 AD knot. That's 6 on the left, 6 on the right, being perfect center on 0. Right? So you got 33 degrees. Now, the temperature, right, it's the hottest day of the year at 122 degrees, right, which raises 1, just 1, but they said it was 3 of them. one to the left and one to the right. And the thief said, remember me, right? So they had a righteous one was crucified between who? A liar and a thief, right? A murderer and a thief, whatever the fuck it is, two criminals. Then it tell you that somebody gonna figure all this shit out, put the puzzle together, and somebody gonna come along and blow a fucking horn, right? So little boy Blue blew his horn, right? Because that's a 7-4 knockoff of 47 flip on a tribal motherfucking affiliation, right? Off of a motherfucking jasmine flower, right? To a couple's knot on the calling the family leader to bring back in line of the family. It's this basic shit. So somebody said, what's a knot? A knot is when somebody's trying to get your attention spiritually. It's called a knot. And it'll come in either in numbers, images, but you got to be perceptive enough to see the knot. When you see the knot, then you're going to knock back. Most of us do it unconsciously, but it's there, right? Yep, boy Blue in the womb. I see you, Celestial Goddess. Yep, 13 in the middle. 13, somebody brought up the number 13. Let me tell y'all why they said 13 was the bad luck number. 13 is the galactic center, what they call the Great Mother Tawaret, right? On Earth, Tawaret would be called Big Mama or Mudia, Nana, or one of those names that indicate an elder woman in the community. But in the stars, it's the direct center of the zodiac because you got 12 houses. And they say, in my father's house, there are many mansions, right? What that means is, in my father's family are many dwellings, and these dwellings is the 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 houses, right? And right now, we in Libra's in full swing today. Libra being in full swing means the balance got to come, right? So when they saying different things, it's coded in multiple directions. The flip mean that I'm looking at it from a different angle than the line of thought that was originally being pursued. I have to flip now because this line of thought has ran its course. The only way to continue along understanding what I'm seeing is I have to look at it from a different angle. I have to flip it. Or it can also mean concentration. Two things that match. Turn over one card, you remember where the other card was, and then you put them together. Right? And 313 is the straight bump. That's Detroit. Detroit is French. It means Detroit. Detroit means the straight. Right? So if Detroit was the straight, and right up Woodward, Ward, the ward of the woods, is Chief Pontiac. And that's where I'm at. Pontiac was once the 313, but now it's the 248. Right? So when you're looking at the numbers, 313 is 7, 248 is 14. That's two masters walking the land. I mean, two of the elders came back from history, rebirth and born, and they both living in the 313. Now it's the 248. The county is Oakland, the land of the oaks. Right? And the oaks are the trees, and the trees are the forest, and you couldn't see the forest for the trees, and the forest is Rodney, and Rodney is my name. And I'm the ride with the staff, and the staff is the oracle group that's telling me the message to tell y'all, to go to give y'all comfort in these times of need. Right? So, here we go. We did everything according to the book. When you follow the Egyptian roadmap to our own liberation. But we don't see the physical three kings walking yet. The response by Mother Nature is she's gonna strike. It's not this is nothing to do with individualism. This is not me. This is nature that I'm reading, and I'm just translating it. I'm like the little person in the little corner down here. They be right there translating the sign language. They be doing sign language while the person talking. While I'm watching this shit, I'm the same as that motherfucker doing the sign language in the corner, telling y'all what's going on. I'm translating it, and everybody not getting it. And so I came on here because I only speak publicly or privately when I'm told, right? So I had to follow what the spirit tell me in order to keep continuously getting accurate information. If I start to deviate, then the information no longer becomes accurate. It becomes self-indulged masturbation. Feel good ain't producing shit, right? So as I translate and interpret this shit for y'all, tell y'all what it say. I'm telling y'all now, the big hot spots to watch is bi-coastal, east and west, right? Why east and west? The east gate closed and the west gate closed in order that the north gate can close. The north gate can't close until the south gate is up. South gate is the raising of the matriarchy because we was originally a southern-oriented people. And as long as we think south is down and north is up, we upside down and backwards. That's because when we upside down looking at north is up, we see the east is west and the west is east. We inside out and turned around. But you can't figure it out until you look in to see out. I ain't gonna go through that science, but I've been through it already and explain how it works, the mechanics of it, what it is. This is how it works. This is how it moves. We passed all that, right? What they about to see now is Mother Nature raising hell on a level y'all ain't seen in your lifetime because these three kings don't walk to appease the dis-ease of the people. This is a disease, a dis-ease of the people that's causing and resulting in misery. Misery is the product of the dis-ease. Anybody ever been sick know how miserable that shit is. Well, we sick, right? And the only medicine is the truth. And the book says it's going to be bitter to the taste, but it's going to be soothing to the stomach. That means once you take it, it's going to help. But as long as you reject it, it's going to remain bitter. The bitter truth cut both ways. It's going to cut some people free, and it's going to cut some motherfuckers' heads off. It's not personal. It's not evil. It's not wicked. It's balance and it's restoration, right? That which belongs supposed to stay. All of the rotten fruits got to get out the basket lest they cause the whole basket to rot. That's science. That's basic, simple shit. Anybody don't believe it, put a rotten fruit in the basket of fresh fruit and watch what happens, how fast they rot. Comparative analysis, put another basket next to it, the same fruit, out the same batch, but only don't put nothing rotten in there and watch how bad the one with the one rotten motherfucking apple is going to rot the whole basket before the other one even start. I done did the experiment before. It's the only reason I know. So one bad apple to spoil the whole batch, right? What we're trying to do is we're trying to dump a bucket of bad apples off the land into the water because they're going to sink while the good apples going to float, right? So this is what they said they was doing in Salem when they put you in the bag and threw you in the river, and if you floated, they declared you a witch, right? Because you ain't supposed to float in the bag. It is what it is. All this shit been used right in our face. They've been telling us the whole time. What set off the Salem witch hunts? It was a group of females dancing in a euphoric state. They knew that if these women continued to become contagiously dancing in this euphoric state, it would eventually reach critical mass and their gig is up. Sisters, dance. Go to the club. I don't care if you drink or don't drink, dance in the name of freedom. Because it's the only thing that they can't stop you from doing because it's too deeply ingrained in your DNA. But watch what Mother Nature do when you dance, when you say, where the three kings at, right? When you see them stomps, them fraternity stomp sessions, let them niggas stomp. It's going to shake some shit. Stomp, nigga. All these is rituals. They conjures, war dances, and rain dances. We control the weather with the dancing. So that's why they don't want us dancing and singing. But if you remember, the song said at this time, we should be dancing in the street. It was a whole song about it off, I think it was a Motown record. It was written by Carly Simon. Everyone around the world dancing to the beat. We should all be dancing in the street. That's what it say. It's telling you your shit. But it sounds like a good song, so you bob your head to it and you never take the science out of it. Everything we do has a science attached to it. Every art has a parallel science, and every science have a parallel art. Sometimes you can get far with just the science, but if you add the art, you can get a lot further. Sometimes you can get far with just the art, but if you add the science, you'll get a lot further. And this is where the hip-hop generation takes over. It's just what it is. Donald J. Trump and JFK Jr. was hip-hop heads. They was the ones that was listening to motherfucking Curtis Blow with us in the early 80s. They was listening to Run DMC with us. You go pull up their playlists and they got motherfucking X-Clan playing. What do Donald J. Trump need to be knowing about the fucking X-Clan for? Why do he need to be bumping brother, 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 how you make him get down? Professor Overseer, I got pimp in my crown. Right? Why would he be bumping that? Brother Jay talking about Bast and all these Egyptian deities and African gods. Why is Donald fucking Trump and all of them motherfuckers from that generation, and Schwarzenegger, from all the way overseas, why is these motherfuckers so heavily influenced in listening to our music? What is it telling them to do? Right? This is why they don't want us. That's why they look, in our community, the enemy that look like us is the same motherfucker telling you that girl gonna be a hoe because she dancing at 2 years old. The baby ain't got, sex ain't never crossed her mind, but she done attributed the sexual appetite to a baby dancing. She the one with the fucking problem. Get her out your fucking family business. They got us all fucked up. It is what it is. Now we about to see the wrath of Mother Nature if we don't see these three kings by nightfall. I'm sorry to tell y'all, but it's the truth. And the worst thing you can tell a motherfucker in these days and times is the truth, because motherfuckers swear they want it, but when they get it, now they got to find a way to escape it. So what do they do to try to escape the truth? Ridicule, haterism, defamation of character in person because they don't like the motherfucker that told the truth. Well, that nigga did this when he was 20. Nigga, I'm 52 years old. Whatever I did when I was 20, that nigga deserved it. Whatever I did when I was 15, that nigga deserved it. What I did when I was 25, that nigga deserved it. I ain't never gave nobody nothing they didn't deserve. I just might have gave them a little more than they was expected. Now, the math of the matter is this. Mother Nature triggered a response in a female on Earth. This female came to me to translate what she was seeing, and I told her. She understood clearly what Mother Nature was telling her daughter to do. Then she explained it to her husband why they was already following this path. Now that he understand, that she understand, that they both knew what they was doing all the time, and the only thing that was the obstacle was their lack of self-esteem. Their lack of self-value and self-worth has been now overcome. They know who the fuck they is. They know who their tribe is, and they called for the king with the blue horn. He is already set for this, right? So, the brother Tariq Bey been telling y'all how to navigate this contract. Motherfuckers are swearing down. He don't know what he talking about. He been doing this shit for over 50 years, telling y'all motherfuckers over and over ad nauseum and ad infinitum, as they say in law. This is some bullshit. It's a contract. It's a foreign corporation that they ran amok on the indigenous land. He your record keeper. Dane Calloway is your motherfucking tribal motherfucking grid. His job is to go through, analyze the information, independent of any other elders, and to tell you his findings, but motherfuckers is giving Dane Calloway shit. I'm going back to that brother, because he right. That's it. He right. He's telling the truth, and he's in the position to right. He's the tribal chief of the land, and he want these motherfuckers off his shit. So I got to back his play. So anybody that ain't caught up, binge watch Dane Calloway. Put it in the comments, tell that nigga I sent you. That Rod Hayes sent me to watch Dane Calloway. Because when Dane Calloway acknowledged that he know that we are all on the same page, in the public forum, shit gonna start happening on another level in another area. Right now, we looking for Three Kings. Mother Nature's already on that. Our personal development, understanding who these people are, is so critical to our success as a tribe and as tribal confederations. Don't fall for that nationality card bullshit. Them the motherfuckers that did this shit to us. We had to replace all of their motherfucking leadership with our leadership and then strike, take them over. We know who they are. We know where they at. They always show themselves. When the whole motherfucking thread is peaceful, this motherfucker come with bullshit. This is how you know them. They tell on themselves. They can't keep it a secret who they is, because not that they trying to tell you who they is, but their behavior show you the real truth of what's in their heart, right? Once you see what's in their heart, you know y'all not on the same frequency. That's why I don't bother with the bicker. But now that we have a system in play that's destroyed all of our leadership, I got to defend the right ones and the wrong ones until we can get them in a place to correct what they did wrong when they was young men and inexperienced. Now they old men and wiser. The same way that they used them to tear our community down, we going to use the same motherfuckers to bring us back up. We not going to never let none of these motherfuckers do to us, keep us down, but it got to be enough of us to understand the process and what's taking place. Right? And so I'm trying to give y'all the science. I'm trying to show y'all what's about to happen. But you ain't got to worry about it unless you continuously plot evil and wicked to other motherfuckers in your heart. A Fri'Ye Bay is two groups of Moors. It's ones we call Amaru, and it's ones that they call Mare. The indigenous people of the land is Amaru. We was already here. The ones who not from here are conquistadors. They Tudors that got kicked out of Europe for raping babies, eating babies, and making adrenochrome. Look at the 1611 exile of Moors from Europe. Go back and find out, why did they kick them out? How did they even get the power to kick them out? Because these motherfuckers had what you would call godlike abilities to most of Europe. How did they kick them out? They can't tell you how a motherfucker crawled out of a cave and overthrew the gods. They can't tell you that. Because they the ones did it. We all might be called more, but we not the same. We wear feathers. They wore fezzes. So you know what we had to do? We had to take our feathers off and take their fezzes and put them on our shit. Right? So now you got a whole nother way to look at them. You got what you call the righteous Moors, and then you got what you call the dirty Moors. They asked me, why do you give honors to Noble Drew Ali, and then you tell us that the Moors is on some bullshit talking about a nationality card? I'm going to tell you why. Noble Drew Ali was a Cherokee High Chief. And if you read oral statements and prophecies, you'll know he ain't talking to us. When he tell you the only thing that would surprise me is if a Moor would do right. Who the fuck he talking about? He ain't talking about Cherokees, Choctaws, Navajo. He ain't talking about them Moors. Who the fuck is he talking about? right? He said, I can count on one hand how many of you motherfuckers gonna make it and still have fingers left. Who he talking to? He ain't talking to Mohawk, Shoshone, Muskegee. Who the fuck is he talking to? Where did he get his information? Who did he go learn under? If you don't know the history of Noble Drew Ali, you don't have a good Moorish education. And Noble Drew Ali said, get a good Moorish education. Because if you got a good Moorish education, you will know they ain't us and we ain't them. And the only way to tell us apart is not by skin color, but by what the content of your heart is. That's all you. We don't put conditions on how we love. We only love you because we love you. We don't need a reason. They need a reason. You got to do what the fuck they say for them to love you. You got to bow down and kiss their ass for them to love. Not the same. Law of nations is governed under the Uniform Commercial Code. The law of nations is international maritime law that govern what you call the disposition and the transportation of goods and services and service of the crown. That shit don't got nothing to do with us. But y'all making it part of who and what you is by owning somebody else's dirt. And as long as you own somebody else's dirt, you're going to be getting the same fucking reward the motherfucker ass you kissing, who dirt that you go along to get along to support, gonna get. It's nothing personal. It's just the structure. It's about fairness and right. It ain't about motherfucking fezes and goddamn nationality cards. It's about right and wrong. Who you is and who you ain't. The divide and conquer came from the motherfuckers that came over here talking about they brought us on some ships. Any motherfucker tell you came over on the ship, tell them to shut the fuck up and get off your land. He probably the one came on the ship. Now, Rod, why you say we didn't come on those ships? My elders said they ain't seen no ships. When you go back and look in the historical record, the people that was here when all the motherfuckers came said they don't see no slave ships. To the motherfuckers, this is in the record. It's not a secret. They said they never seen no fuck. These was contemporaries of Christopher Colombo, who was a Spaniard Jew, half-breed Tawny Moor, who was under the direct command and orders of another blackamoor named Pietro del Negro. If you don't know the history, you need to go look it up. I'm giving you the names. Find out who these motherfuckers is and what they did. You can see the dirt. It's obvious. Go to Central America and say, who fucked y'all people up? Every one of them going to say conquistadors, unless they're a conquistador. If they're a conquistador, they're going to blame it on somebody else. None of y'all stopped and pushed on the brakes long enough to say, wait a minute. How in the fuck did the Civil War end with a country called the United States of motherfucking America, and there was millions of motherfuckers here already, and where the fuck did they go? They told you they killed them all off. Well, what? Shit, I'm sitting right here. My mama was here. My daddy was here. They didn't kill us off. We from this bitch. This is why I can tell you who the kings of the land is according to how we picked our leaders. Not according to how they send you to a ballot box to perpetuate their bullshit and their lies. How we, as a people, an indigenous people to this land, Tupac told it to y'all better than I ever could. We might fight amongst each other, but I promise you this, we'll burn this bitch down, get us pissed. Now we pissed. Now it's gonna be some burning, but we ain't got to strike a match. We just watch Mother Nature. She gonna do it all. These sisters get to shaking and telling Mother Nature to clean this bitch up, and anybody that interfere with her, watch motherfuckers start dropping like flies. Earth will turn a nigga mitochondria off about fucking with the righteous. Ask your motherfucking geneticists, your doctors, your herbalists, your biologists, what the fuck happened when your mitochondria don't work? Ask them. Matter of fact, when y'all see the return of Khalid Muhammad, ask him what happens when your mitochondria get turned off. Because they told y'all he died from some strange, mysterious disease or he got poisoned. No. Sisters turned his mitochondria off because he didn't want to listen. He became what you call incorrigible, but he was right. That's the crazy part about it. The niggas was rebellious and the nigga was right. But you can't go against the leadership. Even if you right, you still got to know that this shit is bigger than one motherfucker. This shit bigger than Farrakhan. You got a whole nation of Islam, not a Farrakhan of Islam. A whole nation. They all identify with Farrakhan in the hashtag We Are Farrakhan. It don't got nothing to do with what these motherfuckers doing. We setting our shit up, how we set our shit up in their face, on our land, and there ain't shit they could do about it. The only motherfuckers can stop it is us. We the only ones can stop us from rising. Us. And as Ice Cube would say, us. We'll always sing the blues because all we care about is hairstyles and tennis shoes. You step on mine, you push the button because I'm going to beat you down like it ain't nothing. And I'm the first one to holler out peace, black man. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Look, the time don't match. The 400 years don't match. The slave ships don't match. They can't produce one slave ship. Look, these motherfuckers can go and pull from the bottom of the ocean ships that ancient Chinese emperors rode across the water 2,000-3,000 years ago, but they can't find a 300-year-old slave ship. They say that they abolished slavery in 1860. No, that's the Constitution was established in 1863. It was something around there. In the 1800s, they supposed to abolish slavery, right? This is what they told you. But they can't find a ship that's 100 years old, a slave ship. Every slave ship they got, if you listen, is called a replica. It's a replica of a figment of a motherfucker imagination. They don't got none. They don't got no slave ships. But they're telling you came on a goddamn boat. Man, I've been telling them Dane Calloway got the paperwork that y'all want to see for the ones of y'all that believe in paperwork. I'm telling y'all what spirits say, but when you want to see what the paperwork say, they ain't gonna show it to you. That's his job. He don't have no other mission in this life but to bring the facts from out of the bottom so y'all can see it. Y'all not watching. So while Dane Calloway keep bringing the paperwork out, I'm gonna keep translating these signs and watch Mother Nature tear their ass up. Somebody's got a notification and during this conversation that a 3.0 hit California. That could be a dumb, that could be an underground base. But whatever it is, watch Mother Nature. If y'all don't see Three Kings by nightfall, Mother Nature about to test shit up. You ain't got to do nothing. I'm going to sit back. I'm going to kick my feet up, put my hands behind my head, and just watch the shit storm because we don't see these Three Kings. And, hey, it is what it is. It's the science of the matter. It's the sincere truth of the matter. From the position to right, we was already here. We didn't come on no ships. The trick was to get us to believe we was other than who we were because they said after 200 years, right? After the end of 200 years, we'll never figure out who's supposed to wear feathers and who's supposed to have on feathers. The statement was given by George Washington. It's a Masonic code because the secrets is in the Masonic temple of George Washington in D.C. And that secret is the flag. I done told y'all who did it, where they at, what they did, how they done it, and why they done it. Nobody else ain't did that shit, but it's a piece of it everywhere. The Nubians got a good portion of it. The Moorish Order of the Round Table got a good portion of it. The Nation of Islam, theirs is heavily coded. So if you ain't a bad motherfucker, you need to stay away from them. because they don't have no time for no foolishness in that shit. Because they got some heavy, they shit so heavily coded that you would think that Master Fri'Ye Muhammad was really Allah, which you don't know that he's a mirror for Allah. And Allah is really Alat, which was a female. So I'm not going to pull all of this shit off the nation doctrine, but I'm going to tell y'all this. While y'all been watching Fri'Ye Muhammad this whole time, I've been watching Clara Muhammad. And when Clara Muhammad exited, I've been watching Khadija Muhammad. So while y'all thinking Master Fri'Ye Muhammad, Fri'Ye means ford, which means a fair, a wage to cross a river, or a ferry. A ferry's fare is a fard or ford. And Muhammad is a praiseworthy one worthy of praise, who has paid a particular toll. And this particular toll is paid by a master. And so the game goes on. Y'all only got two options at this point. Wake up or lay down. Wake up or lay down. You know, people been trying to get me to talk all week, and I've been only had one prior arrangement, and I had to sit my ass down for a minute. Yeah. Alat is the moon goddess in the Middle East, goddess of the moon, and the lead god in the Kaaba. The Kaaba, called the black box, is really talking about the black dot, but they switched the geometry so it confuses you. The black dot, Dr. Richard King, the black dot, it's an accumulation of melanin at the base of the spine called the black dot. They say look in and to see what's out. In other words, use the black dot as the mirror, the black mirror, to flip this shit and turn it around so you can see clear. Yep. The Seminoles held them motherfuckers at bay for the whole time they was here. The Seminoles never assimilated. You know a Seminole today because no matter how dark a light he is, he has no motherfucking. He act like Angel Bay. If you want to know how the Seminoles mentality is, study Jeff Ford, Chief Malik Angel Bay, the law enforcer of the land. When y'all allowed your highest law enforcer of the land to be captured, you're supposed to be a goddamn slave. When you allow all three of your leaders, your kings, because they never put this power in the hands of one man. We never did that. So when they was telling you that the president was running the country, they never told you that the president of the country is the Speaker of the House. The president of the United States is the leader of an interim government's military. The interim government's military requires a leader, a CEO. Do the investigation and see if I'm telling you some bullshit. Right? The CEO of the corporation known as the United States that passed themselves off as your government is the illegal corporation that all of these generals that's coming out talking about they got a whole military breakdown of this shit on YouTube. You don't got to believe me. You can go do your independent research. These motherfuckers was pretending to be the government. Now, our mirror was Afghanistan. That was the mirror. When they was talking about pulling troops from Afghanistan, they was talking about the motherfuckers over here running for cover. That's what they was talking about. They're not going to leave all $8 billion worth of motherfucking materials over there to leave in such a goddamn hurry if it ain't a real threat. They talking about us over here. Afghanistan, the code word for those who smoke the ganja, the peace pipe, the Mary Jane. Afghan. We smoking Gans. Remember that? Remember, nigga? Hey, you got that Gans on deck? This who they talking about. The indigenous people of the land. This how you know us, because we always keeping a blunt, a joint, a peace pipe, a weed pipe. That's us. This is why they don't want to smoke in that shit, because when we smoke that shit, we already pre-trained from our elders to already have a psychic connection to each other. We weaponize that shit. They call us Hashashin. We know when to strike, and they all strike suddenly, out of nowhere. You never see it coming. But if you'd have seen that motherfucker smoking that blunt before you went to telling them goddamn lies on his people while he was standing there, then you'll know why that nigga slit your throat. Severed your head. You know? Watch your head roll. This shit is not about no motherfucking mortal shit. If that was the case, I wouldn't have participated. This is some shit that's higher calling, higher source that requires a higher development of the mind. I'm not the smartest motherfucker. I don't got the best memory. Everything that you see is what I trained myself to become. I trained my memory to be better than it was, but it's still not as good as some of the people that my memory envy. Right? I got a homeboy that I used to study with, a new YB, that can give you the exact motherfucking page of a word in a book. How many lines down and how many words from left to right it is. I can't do that. Certain stuff I could tell you, yeah, you look in this book, you pull up this page, you're going to find this. But not every shit I read. You know? I'm not that smart. I'm not like, I'm trained, self-trained to learn how to fight these motherfuckers on a higher level of consciousness and awareness of self. That's it. It's nothing personal with me. I don't take none of this personal. Because if it was personal, I would have been gone, because I'd have ran up in this motherfucker Harry Carey just tearing shit up. Because I would have just been angry and not knowing what to do. Ain't no sense in being angry and not knowing what to do when you can figure out what to do and you can worry about how mad you was when you get done solving the problem. Your wife call you up, say, baby, the house is surrounded by these dudes. They looking for you. Don't come home. Nigga. When you come home, you better bring the cavalry, and every nigga better be busting as you get up to that motherfucking house. It shouldn't be a motherfucker standing by the time you get in there to check on the wife and kids. Understand what I'm telling you? This is our condition and our position right now. We either standing up or we laying down. And any of the niggas that you see laying down, now, some of them responding, like in code or off the cuff doing something that's related, but it don't seem like they responded. Like Cardi B never mentioned one time to Free Larry Hoover, but we all know where the fuck what motherfucking side of the coin she on. She made that clear. She ain't riding with them motherfuckers. The same with Snoop and Ice Cube. When we called for the Crip Walk, these niggas issued the Crip Walk challenge. With the Snoop had a Crip Walk in the Crip Master that same day within 3 hours. The next day, him and Ice Cube issued the Snoop Dogg Crip Walk challenge. Right? Just 3 days ago, here you got LeBron James Crip walking, issuing the LeBron James Crip Walk challenge. But y'all not paying attention because it's two groups of celebrities, just like they infiltrated us. We infiltrated them. You can always tell us because we're going to always be better than the rest of them at what we do, because we're going to always work 10 times harder, not because we better. We just going to work harder, like Kobe, the Black Mamba. He wasn't better. He wasn't one of the GOATs because that nigga was just good. That nigga was the hardest training motherfucker in the NBA until he retired. While other niggas was out clubbing and drinking motherfucking shit, he was shooting motherfucking free throws and practicing dunks and shit and crossovers. He wasn't the best. He was the best. He was the hardest worker. He outworked everybody. It's the same with LeBron. He been doing this since he was a baby, right? The ones that's with us gonna always stick out like a sore thumb to those who know who we are, because we don't have to be the biggest dude in the room, but we probably can whoop everybody in the room because we train harder to fight than everybody else. We understand that the training is the preparation for the battle. There's no sense of half-assing it in training if you planning on going into battle, because you won't be properly prepared for battle, because when a motherfucker coming for your head, it doesn't matter how motherfucking good you think you is. The only thing matters is how good you really is. And you only can determine that is you got to go just as hard in practice as you do in the game. You not finna be Mike Tyson is the best trained motherfucker in the history of the fight. He ain't the best fighter. He ain't the greatest of all time, but he's the greatest trained by the greatest trainer, and he's the perfect motherfucking pupil in order to be the best motherfucking fighter. And pretty soon he finna come out of retirement. He gonna whoop Wilder ass. He gonna whoop that other motherfucker little light-skinned nigga ass. He gonna whoop that motherfucking big ass 7-foot motherfucking Fury ass. He gonna get his titles back. And then he's going to retire again as a bookend champion, both the oldest and youngest to ever do it. He's just getting in shape right now. All this shit going to happen. He already said he was coming back, but he ain't coming back half-cocked. When he come back, he going to be like the original Mike Tyson, dropping these motherfuckers because now he know what he did wrong. He not going to make that mistake this time. He not going to make it. Right? So, it's just like when Jordan came back 45. He was mama's big gun then, right? So they sent him back to the 33 off the 23 flip. 2 threes is 33 as a master. 45 is on the square. Master on the square. He was 33 on one side and 33 on the other side, Christ in the middle. Meaning fully fucking woke as to his abilities. Hygiene, health, education equals wealth, absolutely. That shit don't look, man. We was fighting, smoking weed and cigarettes. That shit, all that's some shit they made up. We was fighting, and we look when Jack Johnson was a heavy weed smoker, and he was the GOAT. That's the real greatest of all time. They don't like to talk about because he crushed every great white hope they brought. Right, so that's the real GOAT, the Brown Bomber. Right, if you go back and watch his story. He wasn't in all that training shit. He was just a bomber. He was Tyson motherfucker. He was the heavy hitter. But Jack Johnson was the truth. He the blueprint for any fighter. He the blueprint of skill, training. He never stopped training. He had to take a dive to get back in the country. How he lost his first fight, and he was well past Rocky Marciano. He was at 96-0 when he did that. And he lost a couple more fights after that. Don't forget Sugar Ray Robinson. You see? So while we sitting here being awestruck, we're not seeing what we produce. Right? If you don't know what you produce, you don't know what you're capable of. You don't know what you're capable of, you're going to always perform below your average standard. Because you don't know. That's why they wanted to keep us ignorant. Even George Foreman. But George Foreman was a lazy trainer. That's why he didn't go further. He was lazy in training. Floyd Mayweather is the best defensive fighter ever stepped foot in that ring. And I'm not a Floyd Mayweather fan at all. He's the best defensive fighter ever stepped in the ring. I just got a report. Landslide just started in La Palma from the volcano eruption. Y'all already see it's unfolding in real time. Well, offense win game, defense win championships. Look, when you look at the singers, look at Prince and Michael Jackson as two of the hardest workers in the history of the business. They learned it from James Brown, what they call the hardest working man in show business. James Brown taught more people about how to keep their money in the show business. That's why they got rid of his ass. He could keep telling all these motherfuckers to own their masters. But he already told us in the 70s in the interview, he said, I already know I'm going to die broke. When they come for me, I'm not going to have nothing left because I'm teaching too many. And every time I teach one, they take something else from me, and I'm going to keep on teaching. That's James Brown said that. Right? I was a snotty-nosed brat when he said it. 2-3 years old. But he already knew what he was up against. Yep. So I'm gonna look through here and see if anything I need to address before I cut out. Yeah, Sweet Pea wasn't for no games either. Until he stopped slacking up. You could tell if you watch the greats, when they start losing is when they start bullshitting training. Yeah. So before I wrap this up, I'm gonna tell y'all what to look out for. Divide and conquer is the #1 tool. If they use race, religion, age, sexual anything to make you like or dislike somebody, don't participate. It's divide and conquer. Politics, all of it is to keep us divided. On this land, they called America the Great Melting Pot for a reason. This was one of the few lands on the whole earth that had every skin color. All 12 daughters of Isis, and all 7 sisters of Eve, no matter which group, was different complexions and different shades with different hair textures. Was how you got what we call variations in the human family, but the genetics remain human. They begin to integrate animal DNA into the human strain to enhance. But what most people don't know is every animal that's on the planet is already in the DNA, and they don't have to introduce anything outside of you for you to harness the power of that animal. So the Zoom meeting question been coming up a lot. I was doing an interview on that meeting with that brother, and he is the one who's going to post it on his Facebook, on his YouTube page. And when he get finished breaking it into smaller parts, because it must have been about 3 hours long altogether, but he break them down in smaller part segments, and then he put them on his show. So that's those are going to be in his show. And Tay No Ill, yep. So the only reason I didn't post it on mine is because it wasn't my show, and he hasn't sent me any of it yet. As soon as he sent it to me, I'll share it. But it's a lot of information in that Zoom meeting, and I wish we could have had more than 100 people in there because it was fire. A lot of good questions. It's a couple more apps. I don't really like doing them because everything got to do it's supposed to be recorded for public notice. And even in this conversation, this is still putting them on notice of who the fuck we is and what we marching toward, right? So in the course of this conversation, however long it's been going on, we've already had an earthquake, and we already had a report of lava slides during this fucking live. It's in the comments, right? And you can easily distinguish the new comments that come after the live versus the ones that's already here because they mark them. Right now, I'm not doing any consultations unless it's a spirit-led consultation because we're trying to see 3 kings.
You guys, I see that the sound went out. I apologize for that. I apologize. That's not on my end, but it's on. Okay, let me hold on. That's not on my end. It was on the other end. I'm on a different end, so I'm. This is remote, so I apologize. But nonetheless, sometimes that things like that happens. What Uncle Rod Hayes was saying is, go pull the receipts, go look at the videos, you guys. Y'all, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for liking. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for subscribing. I'm on bed rest. And thank you to all those who sent their well wishes and whatnot. I just got back from Rush, y'all. That's like the mega conglomerate hospital here. It's like one of the best hospitals in the nation, perhaps the whole entire world too. So you got to keep up with your health care and stuff. And we can speak about this whole Roe Wade and stuff like that. We can speak on that. You know, I am in politics, and at the same time, that's the reason why I haven't really gotten into the politics, y'all. I haven't bought in. I ain't got bought in. I ain't sold in or nothing. So that's why I stay so, you know what I'm saying, moving the way I move, because I don't have no contracts or nothing like that. You dig? There's no money or nothing like that. You understand? And sometimes you learn that you can receive more. You'll have more if you're just willing to not have. You see what I'm saying? Basically, you'll have more. Excuse my, you know, heavy is the head that wears the crown, and also though you'll have more. Though the more that you're willing to have nothing, in a sense. You see what I'm saying? More comes to those who are willing to like not have anything. And so I haven't bought in or anything like that. And I haven't been sold in or nothing like that, because we out here and I do it for the love. There's not about money, and money doesn't even exist, just to let y'all know. So I don't even like to speak on sometimes what I consider lower density, because I know that just like time, money doesn't exist. So it's like, I feel like Sheldon on the Big Bang Theory, like as if we're fucking talking about absolutely nothing. Not like that, but it feels like that. Like you're from a whole different world, because this shit doesn't exist and none of that. But yeah, that's it, y'all. So okay. So we could do this panel if y'all want to do open panel and stuff like that, because I'm not just here to be speaking to you guys. We came here to build a platform. Uncle Rod Hayes wants to, I know the assignment. I'm an affiliate here. I'm the top affiliate, and I got to see what's up with the chairman Fred as well. Okay, about that too, for all the people who are concerned with Fri'Ye Radio and Chairman Fred, and we're supposed to take a caravan down to the gravesite for the late Chairman Fred. Seniors, they go every time around this year and whatnot for Father's Day and whatnot. So different times of the year he always goes. But okay, so public service announcement. The trip didn't go. Some things took place, and they didn't want to go. And I wasn't intending on going with them at this time or anything like that. They will be in Africa in August. I'm more than likely going to be in Africa with them, because the chairman is doing a documentary. So this would be a perfect time for me to go to Africa. I've never been there. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, so thank you. Like, share. We can do a panel. I'm hoping that we can really, I'm reaching out to you guys. And my dogs, they're gonna start acting up as soon as I start talking, as soon as they feel like I'm, because that's how they kind of are. They're showy off. But okay. I'm about to get the hell out of here, y'all. I'm a little woozy. Thank you. I can't keep up with the comments. I just appreciate you guys, and I hope that at some point you're willing to come onto this panel. And at some point, Uncle Rod Hayes, he'll be back on the panel. I'll let you guys know. Okay, so we're working on that right now, but he'll definitely be on this panel, and you guys will definitely be informed. You guys, peace out. I'm gonna get out of here because my dogs, they're doing what they do best. Like, love, share, subscribe. Love you guys. Peace.
Yeah. Yeah, anything. Every pretty penny bring another pretty penny, but a penny still a penny. Swing low, sweet anything, sweet everything. Never a feather friend, meaning that I never sing. Dumb shiny radiator, shiny radiator. Haters is alligators, meaning that I'll see him later. If my feet fail me, the market long tail me. Tell a jailer man that he better never jail me. Busters on they bread game, but they still be me. I'm getting dirty money like I was Israeli. Slave name Vasquez, rap name AD. Cool in front of that, somebody pay me. I do dumb raps, dumb shiny daily. 5-hour energy, high power Hennessy. Kids, anything you wanna be, you oughta be. Except the cop, cause the cop is whack though. When I was a kid, I had a cat named Jacko. When I was a kid, I copped a dog from a crack hole though. $10 used to call her Coco. But you know though, like Wayne Carter, no ain't shorter than a baller. No Oscar, no soccer, but I kick game on a motherfucking ladders forever. Yeah, whatever. Pale Spanish, slept on like a stale jail sandwich. Frail amateurs need to read Braille to understand half the passages. Middle ones, little fun riddles for giggly idiots. Really, it's just for the kids. Nothing more than this. No Roxy music. 12 apostles, 24 nostrils, 24 laceless shoes at the precinct. New black hostel. Raps written on smartphones. Message the medium. Drop tops you see me in. Plebeian, but still use a word like plebeian. SAT season again, so collegiate. Scooping on easy 10, stupid with greasy friends. Easy E got murked by count.
Nah, bruh, nah.
Yeah. Hey. I don't write love songs, but I write a maze for you. I got a lot to say when shit pertains to you. A different setting, stepped out of hell into heaven. In your mind is a tool, but your body's a lethal weapon. I see you and break a sweat and get near you and chase my breath. And I hate it when you gone, cause I feel like there's nothing left. Yeah, cause I want this shit forever. I stain with your image cause I picture us together. Nothing particular, I picture us wherever. On the couch, in the kitchen, shit, I picture us on shuffle. It's a whole lot that I don't know about you, but I'm willing in the lyrics in this song about you. Got something that you can't resist it. One shot like it's hit or miss it. In your eyes where I hope to find my forever. See, I hope to be the weight that decides our forever. I hope to be the chains that bind us together. And you always change, reminding the weather. Pay no mind to the motherfucking lies that they tell us. Got our head in the clouds like winding propellers, and we're never coming down. Nah, never coming down. Got you on that Cali buzz, you forever coming round. And yeah, you put it down. Hell yeah, you put it down. Like the music high as hell, like drowning out the sounds of the voices from behind. Nah, the voices in your mind, and you never come between us, cause I'm voicing at the time like got something that you can't resist it. One shot like it's hit or miss it. Just kissing, kissing. I don't wanna get caught up in the feeling of it all. I wanna go until I hit the ceiling of it all. Shit, kiss me like I'm different, like the part of you that's missing reappeared when I popped up. Flyer than a flock up. Sometimes I exhale like my pain can escape me and think to my thoughts got nowhere to take me. And you always make me question whether this will ever work or if it's just a game of who could hurt the other first. And got something that you can't resist.